Okay. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going very well. Thank you. And I'm happy to be back at school, and I love getting to see you again.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your favorite student?
Oh, it's this kid who I met in the second grade, had him again in the third grade. And his name is Dante. Great, great guy, wonderful personality, very, very smart, and a hardworking student.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
What does the word diversity mean to you?
Wow, Dante, I saw that question and I thought that is really a hard question. Hard and easy because it means so much to me that I almost can't grasp the words that I want to use about it. But diversity to me, bottom line, is everybody gets to be who they are, and that we learn to live in this world and accept everyone for who they are. And it doesn't matter who they love or what the color of their skin. It's all about who they are as a person. And it's all about learning to accept everybody.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that because diversity is what makes us who we are.
That's right. That's right. Yes, it does.
If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
Hmm. So, one thing I think you know about me is that I'm fair. I'm always fair. The other thing about me is I'm always honest.
Definitely.
And I think the third thing about me uh, is that I'm really kind and I really care about people. And I especially care about kids. And yeah, they would be my free, other than I'm also pretty cool, I think.
You can say that again.
Uh,
Have you been involved in LGBTQ plus organizations?
when I taught at the Bryn Mawr School, which was many years ago, I started it was called a Gay Straight Alliance there. And it was the first one that the students, it's an all girls school. So it was the first one the students ever had. And then we invited the boys' school that was across the street, and we wound up with like 30 or 40 members. So, yeah, and that was a long time ago. That was way before Wendy and I were even allowed to be married.
What are some what are some of the best pro LGBTQ plus organizations in your opinion?
Yeah, so I have only been in California for a few years, and I have to admit, um, Mr. Taylor has told me about a few, but other than that, I really am not familiar with the organizations. Um, and your question made me question why I don't know about these organizations. So I've promised myself that I'm going to find out about organizations around my area.
Um, Hope you learn about some interesting organizations.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
If you could travel anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Wow. Um, that's really a good question. But I guess about 8 years ago, Wendy and I took a trip to South Africa, and I would go back to Africa, but I not only would want to travel South Africa, but I would want to travel as much of the continent as we could.
Why Why would you choose that?
First of all, I absolutely loved the people. I loved the the um, the way the animals. We did a lot of safaris, and I loved the way the people respected the animals,
Mhm.
and it just was an amazing place. And then we went to Botswana, and which is an area that is not, as developed as like Cape Town. Cape Town reminds me of San Francisco, and just to see how these people, how they live together, take care of each other. They really, you can use the word tribal, but they care so much about each other, and it's something that you don't see as much in this country. So yeah, that's where I'd want to go, and I'd want to go to so many different places there.
Who's someone that you believe really changed the LGBTQ plus community for the better?
Hands down, Harvey Milk. And I think you know that. I
Definitely from that monologue.
absolutely. I just, and have always admired him. Unbelievable person who never, ever gave up. And I think he's one of the biggest reasons that I'm married to Wendy now, and that I have the life I have and the ability to do the things that I get to do.
What is your favorite core value?
My favorite core value is community. You probably know that because I talked your ears off about community. Uh, and you can tell by some of my previous answers, but to me, there's nothing like community. There's nothing like living in a world where you learn to accept and take care of each other, to have empathy for everyone around you. And that's one of the things I love about Phillips Brooks, especially the empathy part, that when you live in a community, you learn how to care about each other. And I think the fact that you've had that drilled into your head for 5+ years is the best thing that could happen to every child that graduates from Phillips Brooks.
How do strong values make us better people?
Well, just like I said, I think empathy is probably something that makes you a better person. It's I just had this conversation with my new third graders to tell them that it's like walking in someone else's shoes. And until you can learn to do that, it is it's going to be difficult to get along in this world, especially a world like the United States where people are coming from all over the world to live here.
How is the LGBTQ plus representation where you grew up?
It was zero. Zero where I grew up. A lot of it has to do with my age, Dante. It was not anything that anyone ever talked about. It was not something that was like it is today, just open. And so it was absolutely zero. Plus, Miss Kridel went from elementary school to high school to college, all Catholic schools. It wasn't something you talked about or learned about.
What was your perception of the LGBTQ plus community where you were when you were younger?
Well, I really didn't know anything about the LGBTQ community growing up, and but I can tell you that when I got to college was when things started to change and opinions started to change, and so my perception was had a lot to do with the kind of person I am, that you accept everyone, that diversity is an important part of your life. And so I always felt that way.
How'd I do on the interview?
Amazing. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that you would not be amazing. I'm honored that you asked me to do this. Dr. Erickson, when I ran into him, he said, "Oh, I'm going to tell Dante to get a hold of you to do this." You did a great job, Dante, just like you do everything. A great job.
Thanks.